I'll go through what I just went through. All right, so this is going to be trade review. All right, so this was just end of day trade on GC. This was just on a practice account. What I was seeing in here, a lot of failed selling down at these lows. We had a lower CVD, so you have a CVD divergence. Your CVD is lower, but price didn't push lower. So that indicates higher prices. And this, if you want to take it on a lower time frame fib, you could, right? Like you could do this if you're using fibs. This comes down to the 0.5 of this range. I personally just took it off the CVD divergence and this looking like a potential retest. But yeah, that was that trade. And then the big trade today was GC for 45 points. This is pretty crazy. I'll step through that really quick and my commentary on it. I also called out the longs last night. So let me just go through my commentary. Okay, I need to do this for the past 2 days. What was yesterday? Yesterday was 29th, so I need to look at the 28th. 3800 showing resistance, would expect 3780 POC range to hit if we start to turn bearish. Looks like shorts coming in. This looks good. Absorb buyers, sellers coming in. This started to look good. This reversed pretty much immediately after. Break of lower band and should flush. It tapped that lower band and then it immediately reversed. So I tried to short up at the top of this range. I got stopped on that. I said stop, going to wait. That bounce is too strong. For those of you in London, trading in London and GC, look back at September 22nd. Structure looks similar. And then NQ, I thought was going to be a trend day yesterday, but it came up to the highs and then just failed. GC, this was a clean long. I got out of this at 10:15. NQ levels, I was expecting this to break highs. It didn't. And then last night, for gold, I think we see continued upside. Area I'm watching is 38.35. We never ended up getting down there. The reason I was looking at that is we had this value area low down in there. So came back, reanalyzed, an hour later, hour and 20 minutes later. Said, okay, this bounced off our POC of the range, bounced off that 0.5. I could see longs coming in. This was at 38.57. Starting to push, needs to get above that upper band and it should rip. So I called this right here. Started to move up. This started ripping. Could see us moving higher after getting bought up from that initial sell-off. I was talking about this gigantic red candle. There was a bunch of limit orders that got filled. I saw them on Bookmap. They got filled and then you immediately push back up. That's super bullish. Not pushing here would look for us to come back down near VWAP to get in long. Okay. That was when we were here. We pushed down right to VWAP, pushed back up. And then I said I would target just below 3,900, 38.90 to 38.95 if you're still in. This ended up running to 38.99, 38.99. The reason I say to front run this big psych level is you see it in GC a lot. If you go back and you look at the charts, you'll see 3,700, 3,800, 3,500. It will come up within 5 to 10 points of that level, and then it will start to reverse or stall out. I said I'd be out up here. Price usually stalls around 5 points before a big psych level. That was at 11:48 p.m. So let's look. 11:48 p.m. Right near midnight. I said that right here. Okay, like right in this range. So then this morning, said it looks like we're about. I said GM everyone. I would look for longs on gold here. Bounced off value area low, and London orb double break hasn't happened yet. Okay, so I'm looking for this 15-minute high to sweep on London because we never swept it. We swept the low, we didn't sweep the high. That stat is about 75%. Looks like we're about to rip. Okay, I was already in this. Some of you guys are wondering why I don't alert every trade. I would prefer to give analysis and have you guys be self-sufficient traders. I will give bias in my thoughts, but I'm not alerting every entry. Some people have asked me that. I want people to be self-sufficient traders, so I don't necessarily alert every entry. Up 20 points on GC, lock in profits if you haven't. This was still running, brought my stop in profit. I think this was properly managed. I had about $900 of risk on this. My stop was down at this low. So just under 5 points of risk. No chill from buyers on Bookmap. You can see just steady buying coming in. And then I got out of this at 10 to 1. This was the high of day pretty much. And then I said I was looking for a continuation because we were still having that CVD divergence. And then I said GC holding at VWAP, POC 0.5. We broke IB high. I think we can see more upside. NQ looks like potential double break. We didn't get that double break on NQ. And then I said this is just on paper, but we've moved up 12 points from VWAP. This was my analysis down in here from this, right? There's that VWAP. POC was right in here. Your 0.5 on your fib. I just don't have it drawn on my mobile because it takes up too much of the chart. And we broke the IB high. Moved up 12 points from that VWAP. And then I said slow grind up, cover profits by bringing stop up if you're in. ES and NQ look like they break down from here. They didn't end up breaking down. We ended up ripping. So those are my trades. Let me just go to chat. Got cooked 3 times on gold trying to long. How were you trying to long it? Clutch, bro. Clutch, you're funny, bro. You're funny, dude. You're a funny little guy. Alright. Let's check trade review. I got a lot to go through. I'm going to grab water really quick because I already know I'm going to run out of, like, steam here. Do you guys want a more in-depth review of that trade I took this morning and why I took it? I can make a video and post it on YouTube. Yes? Okay. Cool. I'll do a full breakdown. Okay, 928. Wrong TP, I messed it up, but I think we'll take it. $170 of risk, 610 profit. Sold off, hit some downside liquidity channels, reversing off 1 hour bearish gap. There was a 1 minute inverse fair value gap at the lows of the hour, but I didn't risk it and just waited. Still banked a good piece, took it to 1 minute draws on liquidity, could have held 238.10.6 though, 100%. Okay. I think this is fine off continuation. I'd prefer to be getting in lower here, obviously, but I think this is fine on continuation. Your stops are reasonable. And your management's good on this, Tenzema. I personally don't target liquidity in gold, but that's just me. I think it's solid. Minus 663, GC overnight, 2 trades. Saw 3800 as resistance at 0.5 in volume, area low with low volume. Trade got stopped on first one, saw price tap and react off session VWAP, 618 of range at a supply zone with volume shelf and break and retest, got stopped again. Okay. So, where's the trades? Let me see. Okay. Here, the 3800 was the key area to watch, and we were consolidating here. We were seeing resistance. This popped above 3800, and then it started to sell off. When this reacts like this, I would just try this once when we're back at these range highs, this consolidation highs. If this trade does not work and it looks like it's continuing higher, I wouldn't try this a second time. I know I say give trades to attempts, but this is like there's no rejection here. If I'm looking for rejection, I need a strong body here. Plasma. This first one, I wouldn't have even tried that, honestly. Or sorry, no. This first one is what I would have tried. This second one, I wouldn't have tried. I did try this first one, but the risk was tight. I had wrong TB on first trade, so I waited for 5-minute inversion, slammed 2 columns long, 1 point of risk, took it to 38.10.6, then left 1 with trailing stop, up 11.3, up 900 Asia session, 0.1 tick of drawdown. Okay. It looks like you were in this earlier because you have a sell order here. When gold starts trending, I would watch it on the 5-minute. When it starts trending, it's really strong on the trend. So I would stick off the 1-minute, just watch it on a 5, because it's really clean on the 5-minute. And I also probably wouldn't be watching NQ and GC at the same time. I fucked myself over trying to do that. SL in London, IB targeting True Day Open, didn't like it so much because Asia trend, but sometimes I don't like the IB and it plays so good. I have to take it half risk. Okay. Where's this short here? Okay. Let's look at this. This was what? London yesterday? This was London here. Okay. If I'm looking at this, okay. We never broke below the IB low, right? So if you're using the IB in London, I would wait for it to break one side or the other, because it's solid if it breaks one side or the other, but this didn't break one side or the other. If I'm looking at my stats, I think I have London in here somewhere. Yeah, this is from 3 to 7 a.m. 1 hour by close. Right, and this is extensions of first break. I need to put the extensions for both breaks on here. But I wouldn't try this because the IB didn't break. If you're doing this off an IB trade, I personally wouldn't try this unless you get a really good fill like up here. Clutch, you're talking about this chart. Okay, so you have a 60% win rate. You need to be able to sustain, I would say be able to sustain at least 6 losses. And it's in a row, right? It's in a row. So if you're putting that in terms of like losing days, right? You're taking like 2 or 3 trades a day. So if you're putting it in terms of losing days and you're like, you need to be able to sustain at least 6 losing trades in a row is what I would say. I would push it to 7 because then it's pretty low probability. But yeah, that's what I would do. Also, let me pull up the YouTube in case there's a chat in there. One second. Let me get this pulled up. Can you explain Fibonacci, please? Yeah, I can in a different... Like, I've explained it in other videos. I can explain it after trade review, but I want to get through this. So you took half risk on this. I think this is fine on half risk, but like you didn't get the break to the downside. London, after breaking IB high, retraced 2.75 without even touching 0.18. Okay. Stop loss on IB low because 14% probability of double break till 7 a.m. Third pick, move stop loss because at this time I don't want to see price coming back to the level. Fifth pick, scale 2 cons because it doesn't seem strong at all. This shit hit my TP every time I'm doing something at work, so I couldn't manage it right. Locked for today. Okay, yeah. This is a more appropriate trade. This looks good. This is where I would be taking it. Okay. Good stop adjustment. Again, good stop adjustment. Good stop adjustment. I would scale 2 off at those highs, which you did. And then it pushes. I think the second trade's great. This first one, I wouldn't even try that. We're also... You said you took half risk on this, but you're using 3 cons. I would use 2 cons on this. Just think about it in terms of contract sizing. But I think that's a good trade. I took an L on this trade because of late entry and wrong time frame. Got a rejection off anchored VWAP that headed my direction. That reversed and stomped me out. Went on tilt after and got locked out by daily loss limit. Now I'm back to 2 trades before passing instead of 1, but it's all part of the game. Okay. Yeah, this started to look good, and then it probably just reversed on you. This was at what, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. yesterday. So here, if I'm looking at this is the same area London bounced out of twice. I would want to be looking for longs down here. And if I'm looking in terms of a technical side, right? Let's look at this. Okay, we're below the upper band. Okay, I would have my stop here, and I'd just be looking for like this area to hit, somewhere in that area. It's a little bit harder to judge, and if I'm looking at my fixed range volume profile, I would anchor this at Asia, going into here. Right, we're right at POC. Do we sustain below POC? Yes or no? That's what we have to ask. Are we sustaining below POC? Okay, we're below POC. How long are we below POC for? We've been above POC for all of this pre-market session. Okay, then we get back above POC, and then your longs start to come in. So, when you're looking at volume, VWAP, overall, think about it in terms of who's in control here, right? When we get up, when we get back above this POC, should we be looking for shorts? No, we should just be looking at long side. Okay, have it as like a checkbox. What's happening? Are we sustaining below POC? That these are the questions I'm asking in my head. Are we sustaining below POC? Are we sustaining above POC? Are we sustaining above value area high? Are we sustaining above value area low? Are we sustaining below it? Like, what's going on at a specific interest point? Are we sustaining above it? Are we rejecting? Are we bouncing? Like, what's going on? You should be asking yourself those questions when you're in the trade. Trying to short NQ from low volume node and upper band of VWAP. Plus, we didn't sweep true day. Got stopped. Yeah, this is, I think your target's correct on this KPEC. This was yesterday. So we tried this at, we tried this at 880. I think it's the right idea. I think once this rallies past, right, this bounces off the overnight VWAP, rallies up, and then it starts to stall out. You could try it again up here, right? You could try it again up here to trade it back towards true day. I think it's the right trade because that true day does end up sweeping on this move down. This sweeps true day because our true day is what? Our true day is here. Yeah, we sweep that true day and then we reverse. But yeah, I think it's a fine trade idea. I think maybe you just jumped the gun a little early. I don't have a problem with the trade, and you've got low risk on this. I don't think there's an issue with the idea. I think it's just the timing on this. GC today got reaction off the 382 fib from previous pivot point. Had large salaries being absorbed in that area previously. I was biased long, so I entered off for that reaction, as well as the fact that we couldn't push down further. Was trailing decently tight as we got to that IB high, as we rejected there pretty hard earlier. Got taken out on trailing on demo because Mondays are usually my worst days, and I took a loss on Combine being impatient. Win some, lose some. Okay. Yeah, and it previously reacted off that 0.5. I think this trail's a little tight. And then, yeah, I wouldn't trail it till this candle comes out. And then this next candle starts printing back to the upside. Yeah, no, that's proper trailing boogie. I think that's solid. I think your first trail is a little early. But besides that, I think it's solid. I think that's a good trade. That's also the upper VWAP band, I'm assuming. All right, back to GC. New York session from yesterday. Yeah, we dip below that upper VWAP band and then we bounce. So, yeah, I would take that. I think he's messing around because he posted an L. He posted an L yesterday. Trade 1. 3 MGC, Combine 2.1 RR. Entered 0.5 with lower band. VWAP rejection and low volume now. Trail aggressively because it was close to my daily target, 500. Should I wait for it to form base and move or continue trailing strong 5 minute? Trade 2. MNQ tried to short MNQ from upper band. VWAP rejection twice, expecting a retracement to true day. Got stopped. Yeah, again, same thing. I think the idea is correct. I think it's fine. Here, when this base is out here, I wouldn't trail this until you get this candle. Once you get this candle, then you can trail it here. This next candle prints. Once this next candle starts printing and there's no wick on it, like you get that strong body, I would trail it there. And then this one starts printing the body, I would trail it again. It hits your TP. Or that hits your TP on that wick. So, yeah, to answer your question, I would wait for this it to move out of this base structure, get that strong move up, and then wait for this next candle to print, and then that's where you trail. That's how I personally do it. Clean trade, and then NQ. I think we jumped the gun on this one, coming back up to that area. And then, yeah, we just jumped the gun on these 2 NQ trades. First trade, MNQ, 7 micros, $300 loss. Price kept rejecting from 382. Thought I'd give it a try. Also, New York VWAP and low volume node. Didn't wait for confirmation. Entered blindly. Second trade, MGC minus 300. We had CVD divergence from previous highs and rejected that volume area high. Added when price started to dump, but ended up stopping me out. IDK, what has been wrong with my trading, but I keep seeing so good setups. Fade just when I'm not ready. I don't overtrade. Okay. At least you're not overtrading. I think this long. I tried this here, right? If you were on stream, I tried this here. On NQ, when this didn't push the highs, I got out of it. If you see a fib reaction and it doesn't push the highs or the lows and it starts to stall out, get out of it. That's personally my take. Like, if you get in this and it just looks like it's lagging, I'd get out of it. Here on GC, I don't see a reason to short here. I get that it's at value area high, but since it's at all-time highs, we need to think about like, this is going to push all-time highs. It's going to keep pushing all-time highs. Does it push above? Does it sustain? What's going on here? And this New York session was pretty much dead. It also broke IB high, so I would have been looking for longs. Milo, clean. Asia at fib level and was looking for reversal. Also, this was 1 to 20 RR since I had a 1 point stop loss when I took it. Did this hit Milo? Is Milo in here? I hope that hit, bro. The one thing I would say on Milo, this needs to be tightened. This needs to be tighter. You're up $1,500. Your TP's 2,100, and you're only going to take a 300-point winner if it stops you out. This should be at least 7 points, right? You should be, if you guys are trying to hold your trades for a long time, right? You're trying to hold them based off momentum, and you want to leave room for price to run. A good way to think about it is, if I'm up 15 points, I should capture at least half of it. So I should capture 7.5 points to just at least I got half of the profit, right? That's how I like to look at it. When you start getting like, if you have a clean ass execution and price just keeps running your direction, that's how I think about it. I'm like, I need to capture at least half of this, no matter what. NQ long loss. New York session, tried this 2 times. I was really liking the momentum, so I had expectations of hitting all-time high today. When I saw the volume node holding twice, I entered the trade, which was stopped pretty fast. I was thinking my stop loss should have been lower. And I entered again, but I had a worse entry this time. Ended up closing the trade considering that we hit a low volume node and a high volume node and we couldn't push higher. Okay. Yeah. Execution's a bit high. Yeah, the execution's just a bit high on this. Okay. GC long after we retraced to fib levels, low volume node. Got ADN VWAP stopped. Okay. This, I would wait for this to, like, this pops up, but it's not a strong candle. I would look for a strong candle on this. I think the idea is fine, Quebec. I would just wait a little bit longer. Because that did start to play out. And I would look at bands as well, adding those bands in there. Because when I'm looking at last night, right, this comes down. Once this gets above this lower band, and then it's above the VWAP, okay, it's cruising around there. Get in near this lower band, right, and then I have good risk to reward. It played out on launch when I was clicking launch. When I should start looking for true day retracement on Q, sometimes it happens during pre-market. Yeah, it typically happens around pre-market to open, but you want to see price action moving in your, like, if it's going to hit true day, it's going to be an aggressive move. So I want to look for, like, if I'm looking at yesterday on NQ, right? This isn't moving my direction at all. If I'm trading for true day, I'd like to get in like here, trade it towards true day. When this reverses, right, I would have tightened my stop on this already. Okay, this looks like it's bumping up. You can trade it back here once this starts to fail at the highs. Oh, wait. What time was this at? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, back. I looked at this wrong. So this, right, this comes down to VWAP. It taps VWAP, you don't get a strong reaction there. So this doesn't really give you an opportunity to short it unless you're shorting it just off a break below this VWAP band. Like, this breaks below the VWAP band, it gets back up near these highs, stalls out. If it breaks below, I could take this again based off the momentum. I could take this short again. But this, when it gets down to VWAP, it's not strong. I wouldn't try this. And if you're trading in London, you have to think, okay, London's going to sweep one side of Asia. This goes down and sweeps the low. Right? Even when this breaks this lower VWAP band, okay, we're sustaining below the lower VWAP band. Right? It never really gives you a retest in here, so it's kind of hard to trade that short. It's kind of a hard short to take. I like this long, when you've got all this low volume, right? This isn't really a low volume node either. When you've got this big channel, with a low volume node, you're looking for a peak, dip, and peak. And you're looking for that dip in volume to be kind of small. This is a large channel. I don't want to try it in the channel. And if I'm trying this in the channel, right? When you see these channels, typically they push through them pretty heavily. Like, if you were watching the live from today, I was talking about how we had this giant channel that I was looking at from last night's Asia session to, like, when I was looking at this, right? Once we got above this POC, we've got this giant channel that it's probably just going to fill all of this out, That's what I was thinking. Even if I'm looking at this on a higher time frame low volume node, or not low volume node, volume profile. If I'm looking at this from Sunday's Asia session, we have this giant channel here. We should just push through all of this, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. We don't speak names anymore. Just grab at each other. Yeah, same thing. I think this is slightly better because it's at that lower VWAP band. You do get that decent reaction. If this is going to bounce, like this looks clean, I would tighten the stop up to the bottom of that wick pretty quick. And then it fails. Trying again, same long, but this time previous day high. Swept previous day high, placing stop loss below POC and Asia low, but stopped me. Yeah, so like London's going to sweep one side of Asia. When this is looking this bearish, it's going to sweep that low. So like you're putting your stop where price is going to move to. Yeah. Long GC on demo 2. Bullish bias through Asia, being pretty bullish. Low time frame fib. Asia VWAP, one attempt only because I didn't get reaction any further down. True would have been good if it works out. Bad. Wrong side of trade. Didn't expect it to sell off this hard. Yeah. There's no reaction here. Try second long for my zone where we bounce before fib level from 15-minute low volume node. Buyers started stepping in, got stopped in profit. I don't like choppy fighting big sellers. Okay. I like that you have, it's not book map, but this looks like Quant Tower. Yeah, I think this is solid. Bro, I think this was a low of day. You're in at 38.38. No, it wasn't low of day. Okay, it went deeper. Okay, yeah, so you tried this here. I think this is reasonable to try it in this area. Then once it dipped a little lower to that value area low from Sunday, bounced right off it. That's why I took the trade. Did this sweep Asia low already? Yeah, it swept Asia low. I don't have too much of an issue with this trade. You got stopped in profit on it. I think it's a reasonable attempt to take it back up to that London high. I think it's a reasonable attempt. Try a second long at this value area low. Screwed longs, got stopped too. Yeah, same trade. That stops really wide Z key. 2.5 to 5 points is what we want on the stop. Deeper down it bounced. Took a trade in London. Couldn't sleep, probably a bad idea. Thought we were rejecting from 0.6 in VWAP, but then proceeded to smash down. Yeah, there's just not a reaction here. There's a small reaction, but I want to see strength, especially on GC. Oh, it's demo. Overtraded, locked out for the day, minus 350. MGC pre-market shorts, we dumped down in London, broke value area low for overnight session. If I see a retrace back up to VWAP, low volume node, inside a supply zone in 382 of the fib, I'm overall bullish on the market, so my target is not lowest. Targeting 1 to 2.5 with tight stop, and we'll cut short if price forms against me. Okay, you're in 2 micros. Yeah, see, you can see it even on your larger volume profile. All right, where are we at? We're still above that value area high. I think it's just, yeah, I wouldn't try this. This was bouncing. Got in late on this MGC short until I saw rejection at the 618, but I was wrong and later got stopped out. Yeah. Here, I don't know if this fib is valid because this pivot point, we haven't been able to use this pivot point in at all because it just kept flushing down. So I don't know if this 618 is valid yet. MGC long, flip my bias from short to long. This ran to TP, but I took it off earlier because it kept rejecting at my TP price. Okay, a little bit of a late entry on this. This starts breaking out. Your stop loss is at break even. On that strong 5 minute, there's not really a reason to close this. NQ short plus 200, VWAP value area low, 0.5 from New York PM range. See reaction and all pumps getting sold off. Bearish context. Location at value area low, VWAP 0.5 New York PM range. Took a short with 2 micros, $100 of risk, targeting a recent low, 2 to 1 R. Okay, I like this trade, Ziki. I like that, or sorry, Plasma. I like that you've got what you're looking for written out. Yeah, I think this is valid. 1 break even, 1 L for the day. Locked out, plus 190 with 2 micros of size. Okay. Trading 2 micros this week. Looked good for true day sweep and London double break like Baron did. Scaled out 1, got stopped with trail on the other. When news came out on the lower band. Okay. Yeah, so we got in here. When I know that news candle is coming up, right? You took one off, which I think is appropriate if you're not sure about news. The other one stopped you out in profit. I think that's fine if you're looking at this continuing higher and just the probability was so high. I personally didn't take any off. I think it's valid though. I think it's a valid trade. MNQ short, L, saw reject off New York VWAP, so I entered, but I got stopped out. Your entry's too low on this. Like, when this is ranging like this, and the NQ price action, I was looking at it this morning, it was dog shit. I need to be getting in at these highs. Right at as close to VWAP as I can. Last trade, I tried GC long from 0.5 fib, low volume net of VWAP. We'll see. Need something to do, letting it run. Okay, I think this worked out. Good pack. Woke up last night, randomly checked GC, found a short and took. Stop loss at break even quick and let run overnight. Closed in AM after bounce from demand zone and bullish structure. Thought I took on XFA. Was it dead account? The tingle fried, but the execution was clumsy. Hit banger number 2 in the AM session, 40 points, 7 RR, 3 minis, $6700. Got stopped on the stop loss trail. I think this trade is valid. This is during New York, right? Right? So this, like, we bounced right off the 0.5 VWAP. If I'm looking at this, we broke the IB high. There's a number of factors leaning our direction, right? If I take this trade, I'm going to trail it to this wick. And then once this bases and it pushes, then I trail to the base. Okay? Then it continues to push higher. I trail to this area. Right? GC's pushing up in this after hours. Solid. But yeah, I think this trade makes sense. If we didn't play with the stop, this would have hit TP too. Yeah. Uranus, this looks girthy. Oh, Uranus. But got stopped in profit. Yeah, if we're bringing our stop loss up like this, our stop should be higher. It should be at this pivot. It should be at this pivot area in there. I'm fine with that trade. I already know Uranus. Never trade of the day. I got a couple more to go through. Yeah, I think this trade's fine. It's just stop loss. Remember, Alize, what we said about the stop loss for the next 5 to 10 trades? We're just going to not touch it. Yeah. GC long, first long was pre-market. We had consolidation at lower band. Also had 0.5 fib on high time frame. I got stopped when we wicked below the band. I think that my stop loss should have been lower. Win X2, first win. After a few minutes, decided to enter again on longs. This time, getting in on pullback to EMA. I scalped at VWAP, mainly to get out of drawdown. I was getting stopped when news hit. If this trade was on GC instead of MGC, would have been fine. Almost crashed out considering that move we had afterwards. Second win. Came back to the church during PM session, tried another long based on the IB, where I scaled 3 cons at value area high because we couldn't push past it and moved my stop loss on 15-minute bar where I got stopped. Okay. This first trade, yeah, this stop should be slightly lower. I like when we're this close to the band, you need to have some room. I would put it here on that 5 minute. This strong 5 minute. That's where I would put it. This second trade, I think this is fine. Once this is showing strength above the band, tighten it pretty quick up to there, right up to that base. If you know you have news coming out and you're looking for a really far TP, take your risk off as much as you can. But this looks strong. This continued up, then you adjust it to that pivot, and then that would have hit TP. And then this last one, I think this one's fine. Off that VWAP bounce for a quick scalp. Yeah, so this, I would put it on this 5 minute wick when we're in that consolidation. It's just too tight. The second one. Okay. Decent entry. I would wait till you get like this candle, that second green candle. Like it's the doji and then that second green candle to get in. Okay, once this starts pushing, I would put that limit sell at VWAP. I think that limit sells a little early. That scales a little early. And then this stop adjustment, it should be at this base. Right, because this didn't look super trendy yet. And then that's where you get the trend. And this last one, yeah, this looked like it was just going to grind higher. So I think this last one's fine. Yeah, the stop adjustment on this is fine. It's proper. I'm assuming that's where you wanted to scale. And it stops you. Yeah, I would have scaled some. If you're looking to scale, I would scale like right in here. And then bring the stop up. Yeah, you did. Okay, cool. And then if it comes back down, try it again. Yeah, I would have scaled some here. Like, you don't need it to get all the way back up there. Took this on another count with 10 micros and 40 point stop. High time frame fib, expecting price to come back to range and targeting equal highs. I was in this trade for 5 hours, left my house and forgot to set TP. Price coming down again. Stayed in until I got stopped out. There was a lot of wicks, so I trailed every 15-minute candle when we come up again. 100.6 hour. Very nice trade, Jossie. Yeah, Jesus Christ, you were in this for a long time. Yeah, I would have gotten out up there when we hit that extension, and then looked to get in when we're close to that IB low, just at the stop at the IB low, and then yeah, just trail off the 15. So clean. All right. Some of you guys have questions. VWAP bands, yeah. So a VWAP band, essentially, you're taking your VWAP and you're applying a standard deviation to it. So it's like the one that I'm using, it's the 1 standard deviation. If I'm using, you can use like 2 standard deviation, you can use 3 standard deviation. It's just I've found the 1 is the most useful. So it's just a term of like I'm using it to gauge upper ends of I'm using it to gauge upper and lower ends of ranges, and then I'm using it to gauge, okay, are we strong here or not? So like last night, if you look at this trend, right, this is holding above VWAP. This upper VWAP band, it's riding this all the way up, and then you get this clean trend where it's well above this upper VWAP band. Okay, we start to reject, we get below that upper VWAP band, bounce back up, then we reject below it again, and then we hold below it, and then we just sell off completely. Okay, on this, right, on this initial push up, we tap that upper VWAP band, or that lower VWAP band, we reject, then we get above it, right, we're sustaining above it, and then we push up. So as you get more data, it's like they'll be less, they won't be as close to price action. But if you've got nice ranges, and even look where New York high was in the AM, right at that upper VWAP band, and then we sell off down to VWAP. And now we continue up. Now we've pushed above the upper VWAP band. Okay, we reject, and now we're coming back above and we're sustaining above it. Aaron, I just joined. Can you explain again? I wanted longs on GC, but my longs were too deep. It reacted off my level and pumped. I don't know how to adjust my level after pump. What was your level in London? Yeah, just send a pic of it. Can I explain Fibonacci's? Fibonacci is going to be like you're just taking 2 pivot points and then you're applying percentages to it. Some people use you can use fib numbers. Fib numbers are common occurrences in nature. Some people started to apply them to finance, right? That's where your fib levels come from. They're pretty common sequences in math. If you get into math, you'll find a lot of Fibonacci sequences. If you look at nature, there's Fibonacci sequences as well. So people have applied them to financial instruments. And they work decently well. If you're just looking at using a 0.5, right? A 0.5 fib, all that means it's 50% of the range. If you're looking at 618, it's 62% of the range. If you're looking at 786, it's 78.6% of the range. Okay, let's look at this. Okay. 3810s, 3815 on GC. Was this yesterday? Okay, so here, right, if I'm looking at this, okay, this gets above POC, it's above it, tries to come back below it, it doesn't, comes back above, taps your POC, you can take a trade off this POC. Once you see it taps that POC again and it starts to bounce up, you can enter after this first green candle and then just ride it up. Yes, Asia. Oh, Asia. $38.10s. Well, I can't see the numbers on the right side, bro. Look at the recent chart, like live. React off value area high. Are you talking about yesterday? Are you talking about today? What are you talking about? The London low from today? Yeah, it hit value area low, and then it bounced. Okay, that was your level. It reacted. Okay. IDK were to enter again. Okay, you have a retest here, right? You have this base here. You can try it on here. It's a little bit risky, but you can try it. Or you can wait. It gives you a retest here. You can enter here, right? If you miss both of those, pushes above the upper VWAP band, right? It comes down, it gives you that clean flush. You can try it here. Okay, maybe you missed that one. You can try it here. And just set your stop below that upper VWAP band or below this strong, like this strong pivot. You missed both of those? Okay, you can try it again here. Off this 0.5 fib. There's like 4 or 5 places to enter if you miss it. In real time, they'll wait for me on the retest to enter, like you're talking about in here. If I'm on the 1 minute, right, this comes out, you would enter on like one of these 2 dojis. I would enter on the second doji. Try the enter on the second doji. Yeah. But I'm looking at order flow. Since you're in school, right, you might not have access to the order flow. You might not have COMEX data. this is one time where I would maybe suggest using the 1 minute. This dips below that lower view up band and then it bounces really cleanly. So even if you don't take the trade here, I can say, okay, this I want to enter as close to this upper view up band as I can. It gives me that opportunity again, right in here. Can CVD on Bookmap suffice? Yeah, it can. I prefer to look at the retests on the 5 minute because the 1 minute might be a lot of information. On TradingView, well, let's look at it. Let me get my CUM indicator. No, the CVD's wrong. The CVD's completely wrong. Because if I'm looking at Bookmap, right? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, when we push these highs in the AM, okay, let's look at our CVD. So when we're pushing these highs in the AM, our CVD is 2,700 about. Whereas it here, it's saying it's 7,000. Okay, when we dip lower and then we get this push up, our CVD is actually lower when we're getting this clean push up. Our CVD never reaches that 2,700 peak, but this moves above. So it's harder to see the CVD divergences on a TradingView chart. Because it's wrong. Yeah, less effort, more reward. Or less effort, same reward. Right? So your buyers are pushing it up. Okay. All right, I'm going to go. I'll be on slow markets tonight. You know what? You guys finish typing. Time is slow markets. 8:30 Eastern. It's like 5 a.m. for me. That sucks. Alright. When's the next payout? End of this week, hopefully, bro. How many Z's? Should be like 5. I need one more $2,000 day, and then I just need to get winning days. I'm just gonna set the lock on my account at the winning days because last week I had the winning day and then I just didn't lock it like a fucking retard. But yeah. All right, I'll see you guys.